Welcome to the Sexual Wellness Podcast, real-life conversations with industry experts on modern sexuality and how to live a happy, healthy, turned-on life. I'm your host, Laura Allen, founder of New Zealand's leading sexual wellness store and holistic sex, love, and life coach, passionately guiding women to expand their pleasure in and outside the bedroom. Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Sexual Wellness Podcast. I am coming to you today with a super fucking juicy episode. I got a huge download for this while I was running, and after my Kiwi Burn experience, I feel like my experience at Kiwi Burn is going to be wafting out into all of my content over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I've got so much to share, and this week we're going to be talking about jealousy and comparison and how we can actually use these things to our advantage and feel empowered instead of disempowered by these experiences. Jealousy can feel, and so can comparison, can feel so hurtful and painful and be like drenched in shame and just feel deeply uncomfortable in our bodies, but it doesn't have to be that way necessarily. So I want to share with you some tools and some little mindset tricks to really help you feel cozy and comfortable with jealousy and comparison, and how you can actually start to move past them and live a slightly more empowered life within your relationships, within your work, within, the whole shebang, holistically. First of all, before we dive in, I really want to talk to you guys again about Queendom. It's about half full right now, which is dope. It starts in 3 weeks' time at the end of Feb. I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it's Monday the 29th, but I actually don't know right now. I could check my calendar, not going to, but it's later in Feb 2020. And if you want to get involved, reach out to me. The women in there are so freaking epic. I've been adding heaps of juicy content into the course. And if you sign up for Queendom, then you've got lifetime access, because I just got you guys like that. So basically, it's a 5-week online self-pleasure journey to help women step into their feminine superpowers. And, the whole thing goes like in the first module, we talk about like your pleasure mindset and work through shame and any blockages that we might have in our way. And then we move into boundary boot camp, and then things start to really rev up and we start to work around the feminine heart, magnetism, desire, attraction. And then we go down into the pussy, into the yoni, and like work with yoni mapping, yoni de-armoring, pleasure one tutorials, yoni yoga. Like honestly, this course is drenched with epic content. So, and also the final module is all about how to be an exquisite lover, and there's lingam massage in there. There is so much beautiful, beautiful ways to share your love, to share your erotic, seductive, like innate erotic essence with your lover, and have it be so wholesome and meaningful and really transcendental. And this is what this course is all about. So if you're keen, jump online and apply. Reach out to me on Instagram. I love hearing from you. Just like slot on into my DMs and we can have a chat about it. Okay, so let's get started. So I want to start with comparison. And I want you to just take a moment to feel into like where you might have a bit of a case of comparisonitis, because comparing ourselves to others in any area of life is a completely natural human thing to do. We're always looking as humans for ways to grow and expand. And when we see people achieving things or doing things or living in a way that, we're kind of wanting or desiring and we don't have that yet, then it can really kind of make us feel insignificant, or, make us feel lesser than, or that we don't have enough because we aren't there yet. And so what humans can tend to do is to get stuck in the lower vibration of comparison and really let it sort of get you down and feel it, and like feel into that feeling of actually not being enough, not being good enough, not being sexy enough, not being smart enough, and that other person, that other thing, that other entity is better than me. So let's talk about how to not go down that little rabbit hole, because you know what? We're all on our own paths and we all do things at our own time and in our own place. And by actually kind of succumbing into that vicious cycle of comparison, we're really keeping ourselves stuck and small. And so what you want to do is you want to be able to acknowledge it. You want to be able to have awareness around when you are acting out in comparison. So we're just going to use Instagram here because it's a classic example, and I don't know about you, but I'm definitely guilty of it sometimes. And so I'm going to use myself as an example, and then I'm going to use the way, and I'm going to share with you the tools that I use to get out of it. So Instagram, I work in sexuality. I have my own Instagram profile and the way that I show up on the internet. And of course, naturally, there are thousands and thousands of incredible, beautiful, amazingly talented women working in this space who have wildly successful careers, who impact the lives of thousands and thousands of women and men all around the world. And it is so easy for me to go into their profiles and compare, a simple 2-paragraph post that they put up last night that within, 3 hours has 2,000 comments on it, when, something that took me days to write and is that, like much, much longer, only has 1 comment on it, and I can, it would be so easy for me in that moment to subscribe to the story of I'm not good enough. I'm not, people don't like me that much. People like her so much more. Why am I not like that? And like, it could be so easy for me to fall down that rabbit hole, but this is the thing. The first thing is awareness. So if I'm ever in a position where I notice myself going into that comparison, I observe it straight away, because it's really important to know when we're in comparison, because awareness is power. The first step is awareness. If we don't know that we're doing it, then we can't make any conscious changes. So just be aware of when you are going into those stories, okay? So the next step is to stop and pause. Just stop. So, come back into yourself, come back into your body, take a few deep breaths and ask yourself, like, what is actually true for me right now? What is true for me right now? I notice myself when honestly, I actually never, I very, 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 very rarely do this. Okay, I'm a human, and sometimes I have moments where I want to go and see my peers and my colleagues and see what they are up to on Instagram. And my sisters in this field are super, super successful women. And so when I notice myself going into that story of, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not good as them, I simply just stop and pause and come back into my body and remind myself, no, Laura, what you're doing is amazing. This is where you are at right now. Like, look at all of the people that I have in my community. Look at the feedback that I get every single day from people whose lives I am affecting in a positive way. Look at all the work that I'm doing so far. Look at how good that I feel. Like, do I feel good? Am I on purpose? Is what I'm doing, is how I'm performing? Am I happy with how I'm showing up? So that's the next step. So we've got awareness, we've got stop and pause, come back into yourself, and then go into a place of gratitude. Now, this is so important. Go into a place of gratitude with yourself and what you have already, because enough is not a quantity. Enough is not a number of followers. Enough is not an amount of comments. Enough is how chiseled hers or his 6-pack of abs are. Enough is not how many lovers he or she has. Enough is not how many years they've been in a relationship or how often they're having sex a week. Enough is it's not a quantity. Enough is a relationship to what you already have. So bring it back to yourself always. What do you already have that you love and are excited about? So again, I'll take it back to this example just to really kind of illustrate this example. And that is, when I could go into comparison on Instagram and bring it back into myself, it's like I have this and I have that, and this lights me up, and I feel so good when I do this, and I know so deeply that I am on the right path and that I am doing what lights me up, because that at the end of the day is all that matters. Coming back to yourself, making sure that you are in alignment with your truth and being grateful for everything that you have now. Because when you're going out into the world with an energy that is stating things like, I'm not enough, I don't have enough, she has more than me, I am lacking in that, that is a real lack vibration. And it's like law of attraction, right? Like will attract like. So it is super important to make sure that you focus on your strengths, focus on what you do have, focus on what you're good at, focus on what you're loving, focus on what is lighting you up. And if you're at a point where you're feeling like, oh, this is something that I'm actually really desiring and really longing, but don't yet have it within my life, then use it as a tool for expansion. As a tool, like use your comparison as a roadmap in a way for things that you are actually desiring and wanting in your life. Not something that you don't have and never will have because you're not good enough and ... and all those bullshit stories. No. Use your comparison as inspiration, because all it's doing is showing you things that you are wanting to explore, things that you're wanting to experience, and things that you're wanting to embody within yourself. And that's beautiful. So see how I've switched this comparison-itis kind of really yucky, icky, sticky feeling of yuckness and just horribleness into something that is actually super empowering. So powerful. And once you make that switch, it is so helpful to be able to go out into the world and to celebrate other people. So now when I go into Instagram and I'm surrounded by all of this, beauty and intelligent, smart success all around me, I don't get sucked into comparison. I get uplifted into inspiration, ambition. See the difference there? It's really subtle, but it makes such a huge difference. Now, I want you to understand that again, that this is a practice of self-love. This is a practice of you getting to know yourself and starting to really appreciate what you bring to the table, what your value is. It's about self-worth. It's about understanding your value in the world and knowing that success is dependent on doing the things that you love in a way that makes you feel really good. And when you start to live life on your terms, and when you start to really kind of live in more alignment with who you truly are, you won't be affected by other people's ways of living, because you will know, you'll have that deep inner knowing that you are happy in your lane. And you won't want to merge and, do U-turns and go around and around the roundabout a million times, because no, you know deep down inside that you're happy in your own lane. Sure, you might want to like look over the road every now and again, like get up on the roof of your like double decker, like super hipster, combi van bus, whatever it is, and like look around and see what other people are doing. You might want to look and see what's on the horizon, like what are people doing that's ahead of me, like, they're taking this route or whatever, but stay in your own lane and know that this is your journey and to enjoy it. So that's what I wanted to talk about when it comes to comparison. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is jealousy, another really icky, sticky, yucky, horrible sensation that we can feel within our bodies. And what I want you to know is that jealousy is totally okay. Jealousy is so natural. It is part of the human experience. And our job is not actually to override jealousy. Our job is not actually to, make ourselves believe that we can love ourselves enough to the point of not feeling jealous of anyone, because that is absolute bullshit. Jealousy is a beautiful, natural feeling. It is so vulnerable. And what jealousy is really doing is it is highlighting the parts of you that you feel insecure about. And that's why it can be so uncomfortable, because we don't want to look at our insecurities. We don't want to know. We don't want anyone else highlighting the places and the things about ourselves that we actually don't like. We don't want anyone highlighting the parts of us that, where we don't feel like we're enough, where we're not actually showing up for within ourselves. It's like we might be jealous of this girl with the 6-pack of abs, and it's got nothing to do with her. It's not her, it's you. It's all you. Because you know that you're not going to you're not taking any steps, you're not taking any inspired action to create that thing, those abs or whatever it is that you are actually really deeply desiring within yourself. And that is why it hurts so much. Because she's highlighting something within you that you're really desiring, but you're actually not showing up for. So instead of succumbing to jealousy of a sensation of, again, lack, she's got something that I don't have, or, I'm using she because I feel like it's like really common for like women to sort of like bring down other women, especially in New Zealand and Australia, this whole like tall poppy syndrome thing. It's just like super dumb. Like, empowered women empower other women. Like, enough of being catty and bringing our sisters down because they're beautiful, because they're shiny, because they're strong, because they're radiant, because they're not modest. Like, enough of gossiping and highlighting the things that we don't like in other people, because actually they're just a reflection of what we don't like within ourselves, but we don't have the guts to admit it. Enough of all of that. Enough of being jealous and vicious to another woman because, your partner might think that she's sexy, or, enough of being jealous. It's like, it's okay to feel those feelings, but it's like not okay to project your jealousy on a vicious and malicious way onto another human being, because like I said before, it's not about them, it's all about you, and it's your insecurities, and it's okay to have them. Jealousy is okay. Insecurities are okay. It's about what you do with them that really, really matters. So if you're someone who gets insecure and jealous and then starts to get starts to kind of, let that vibration of kind of putting other people down, or wanting to bring other people down, then there's something in that to look at, okay? It's about vulnerability, and it's about taking responsibility for yourself. Jealousy is an opportunity to see what you're wanting and what you're desiring, just like comparison. You might be deeply jealous of, this woman who can assert herself so gracefully and so beautifully and so persuasively in board meetings. You might be really like festering in jealousy and, thinking, oh, she's such a bitch. She's so up herself. Like, God, like, screw her. Who does she think she is? And so on and so forth. But really, that's what you're wanting. That's what you are not embodying within yourself. And it kills you because every time you see it within her, it reminds you that you're not showing up for yourself. So instead of lashing out at her, even if it's just internally within your mind, that's such a low vibration. Don't go down that rabbit hole. Awareness, have awareness, observe, stop and pause, flick the gratitude switch, start to appreciate what you do have within yourself, and then use this other person as inspiration. Instead of putting that other person down or trying to bring them down to where you're at so that you can feel comfortable again, celebrate that other person, uplift them. After that board meeting, go up to them and say, hey, oh my God, I just absolutely love the way that you articulate yourself at work. It's really inspiring for me and something that I'm trying so hard to embody more of. I'm a little bit kind of not very good at it yet, but you just inspire me so much. Feel how that feels in your body. Doesn't that feel better? Damn, just like taking responsibility for your vulnerability and for your insecurities and for the things that you want in your life. God, that is so much more empowering. And you know what? You're going to get there so much quicker because when you are stuck in a vibration of jealousy, you are stuck there. Honey, you are stuck in that and it's nasty and it doesn't feel good. It's even okay to say, hey, oh my God, I'm so jealous of the way that you present yourself. It's something that I really, really wish that I had within me. And yeah, sometimes it makes me feel really like insecure and vulnerable about your beauty and how just like powerful you are. But it's something that I'm like really trying to be inspired by and grow from. I know if someone came to me and said that, I would be so deeply moved and I would, my heart would be so open and I would want to connect with that person and learn and share and help and support and, cheerlead that person on. See how that kind of communication and that kind of attitude actually allows for heart opening and for growth and expansion as opposed to more contraction and self-loathing and just, never feeling like you're enough. When I was at Kiwiburn, another Kiwiburn story here. There was this woman and oh my God, you guys, she was absolutely, there were so many beautiful women there, like, poof. Every day in my life, I'm just like, oh my God, the world is just full of incredible women. But there was this one woman in particular who I just felt like her aura, her energy, her body was just so gorgeous, and I knew that I was attracted to her, and that I really just loved the way that she played, and I loved the way that she had this sense of freedom and joy and just bounced around, and damn, you guys, she was smoking hot. And I knew that my partner was attracted to her too. But that didn't take anything away from how I felt about myself. I knew in that moment that I knew that I could see in her the aspects of myself that I was longing. But the fact that I was attracted to her, that my partner was attracted to her, didn't take away from me. It didn't take away from my beauty. It didn't take away from, my relationship with my partner, because there are beautiful women, there are beautiful people in the working world, in the relationship world, in all of the world doing amazing things. And sometimes they're going to be a little bit further ahead than you are in one way, shape, or form. in this particular woman, I loved the way that she played and how she accessed joy so effortlessly and how she could so openly connect with anyone around her. And that is something that I am deeply longing more of in my life. And so I recognize that in her. And instead of going into this really, uncomfortable shell of insecurity and feeling like I simply wasn't enough, and then getting super jealous when my partner would look at her and we would all kind of like smile and giggle together because it's all funny, like we're all hot and we kind of are all attracted to each other, like come on, life, it's funny. Instead of getting like wildly insecure, I just felt so empowered by the experience because I felt so validated within myself, who I was, and knew exactly what was going on. And I knew that she was inspiring me and lifting me up, and we could actually appreciate each other and support each other and cheerlead each other in a really positive and really, really healthy way. And that made me feel so, so good. Use the people around you who spark jealousy and insecurity around you to inspire you and uplift you. It is so, 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 so important. Also, just one quick note on when it comes to relationship jealousy. That particular experience at Kiwi Burn was safe for me because of the relationship dynamic that I'm in. I'm in a monogamous relationship that I feel deeply safe in and have like absolutely zero question whatsoever when it comes to trust within that. And so therefore I feel safe to express my love and desire for other women and men in the world, and my partner can do the same too because we know that we're together. It's not a question. There's not a doubt in my mind, and we feel safe within that. There are other occasions where, some couples might not have that yet, or you might be in a relationship dynamic that doesn't actually promote and support that. And so it's up to you to kind of really make a judgment call on whether or not it's actually conducive to you or not. Like I said before, there's absolutely nothing wrong with feeling jealous, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with feeling insecurity and like looking within yourself and knowing, this is where I need to expand. This is an area of my life where I need to pour more self-love into myself. This is an area of my life that needs work. But if you are not feeling safe, if your heart is not feeling safe within the relationship dynamic that you're in, and perhaps your partner is actually completely dishonoring of your vulnerability and not hearing you and seeing you and supporting you in that as well, then I'm not sure, I want you to just run a little self-inquiry about that and really feel into whether that is the most loving and honoring thing that you could be doing for yourself right now. It comes down to it just really comes down to looking after yourself in these situations. It's like, it's all very well to sort of like be out there and open and free, and it is super, super beautiful. I'm totally not putting it down at all, but like, it's like, it can come in phases and in times when it's right for us. And sometimes we just need a little bit of a break from those kinds of scenarios so that we can work on ourselves. So just be really aware of your values and, how you want to grow, and, what you are willing to actually subject yourself to, and what you are willing to sort of go through when it comes to these things. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. It's a little bit of a short one, but I just feel so passionate about it because I really feel like we need to completely do a 180 when it comes to how we approach and deal with comparison and jealousy, because in, I guess, mainstream society, it's just normal to, bash on the other person and not actually take responsibility for ourselves, and feel the jealousy and then also run away with the stories of us not being good enough, and actually just simply not having the tools or the awareness of what it even means and how to even cope with it. But comparison and jealousy can be your best friends. We don't need to be scared of them. And we don't need to run away with them, and we don't need to shut them down. It's totally, totally okay. It's just up to you to choose how you want to deal with it. Do you want to be empowered by the situations, or do you want to stay in disempowerment? And always, always, always remember the success, the beauty, and the shine coming out of somebody else is not taking away from or to the detriment of your own. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this episode, hit like and subscribe, or share it with someone who you feel could benefit from hearing it too. My mission is to bring healthy sexuality to the mainstream, so be sure to leave your 5-star review on your favorite podcasting app, because that way this content can land in the ears of those who need it the most. If you're looking for more resources on how to live a turned-on life, check out my website at www.laura-allen.com, where you'll find events, coursework, free downloadable workbooks, as well as my coaching packages. And lastly, I want to thank you for taking the time to prioritize yourself in this exquisite way, because when we do, that's when we can really start to show up for the rest of the world. And until next time, thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back with another episode soon.